Listen, we need to have a serious talk about where this industry is going. For over a century, hunting was about blued steel and hand-oiled walnut. It was tradition. But look around you now. We're caught in a violent arms race of aerospace titanium and carbon fiber. It makes you wonder, is this really the future of ballistics? Or are we just losing our souls to the next shiny gadget? Manufacturers are pushing boundaries we did not even know existed. But are they doing it for the sport, or are they doing it because you demand it? Let us find out. Coming in at number 7, we have the Franchi Momentum Mule. Now, listen, a lot of guys treat their rifles like jewelry. They polish them, they baby them, they keep them safe in a climate-controlled vault. This thing? This is a hammer. Franchi calls it the Mule because it is built to be thrown behind the seat of your pickup truck and forgotten until you absolutely need it. It is not here to look pretty, it is here to work. It is rocking a 16¼ barrel, which is short. That makes it incredibly handy when you're dragging it through thick brush or maneuvering inside a cramped vehicle cab. But here's the mechanics insight that actually caught my eye. It features integrated flip-up iron sights right on the barrel. Most modern bolt guns make you choose optics or irons. This rig gives you both. If your fancy glass fogs up or breaks in the field, you flip these up and you are back in the fight. That is a level of redundancy you rarely see anymore. Now, let us talk about the sensory experience. When you run the bolt, it is smooth, but it has a distinct mechanical grit to it. It reminds me of racking a pump shotgun. It means business. The trigger breaks like snapping a frozen dry icicle, crisp but cold. However, and this is a deal breaker for some of you, the stock is pure synthetic utility. It feels a bit hollow. If you're used to the warm hug of walnut, holding this is going to feel like shaking hands with a robot. I knew a rancher out in West Texas who used a rig just like this concept. He didn't care about scratches or finish wear. He cared that when he pulled the trigger on a coyote at 300 yards, it went down. That's what this is. It feeds on 308 or 223, and it does it without complaint. Street price is sitting around $1,500. That's steep for a beater gun, but can you really put a price on reliability when you're miles from nowhere? Stepping up the game to number 6, we have the Savage 110 Trailblazer. Now, listen, there is a specific kind of hunter who buys a Savage. This guy does not care about bragging rights at the lodge. He cares about filling the freezer. The Trailblazer is built for the deep woods, the kind of places where you slip on wet moss and slam your rifle against a granite boulder. This thing takes that abuse and asks for more. It is fully coated in Cerakote, which is basically a ceramic shield against moisture and rust. You could probably paddle a canoe with this rifle and it would still hold zero. Here is the mechanics insight that makes this platform dangerous. It uses a floating bolt head design. Unlike a solid one-piece bolt that has to be machined perfectly to make contact, this bolt head can wiggle just a tiny fraction. Why does that matter? Because when you lock it down, it self-centers in the chamber for perfect contact every single time. That is why a factory Savage often outshoots rifles that cost 3 times as much. It's not magic, it's just smart engineering. When you pull that famous AccuTrigger, it breaks cleanly, like biting through a crisp green apple. It's adjustable, safe, and predictable. But honestly, let's talk about the deal breaker, the action. When the bolt is fully open, it wobbles. It feels a little loose, almost like it's gonna fall out. It doesn't affect function, but if you're used to the hydraulic smoothness of a custom action, this feels a bit sloppy. It reminds you that this is a tool, not a trophy. I saw a guy in the Rockies carry one of these for 7 days straight in freezing rain. His high-dollar optics fogged up, but the rifle functioned flawlessly when he finally got his shot on a bull elk. It feeds on everything from 6.5 Creedmoor to 300 Win Mag. The damage to your wallet is reasonable, usually under $1,000. If you want a tack driver that you don't have to baby, this is your rig. At number 5, we have the Henry SPD Predator. Now, I know the purists will hate this, but sound off below if you think a lever gun should stay in the 19th century. Because this thing? It is a lever action that went to space and came back angry. Henry took the classic Western design and injected it with pure modern utility. It is fed from a detachable box magazine, not a tube. That means when you run dry on a pack of coyotes, you drop the mag and slap in a fresh one instantly. You are not fumbling with loose rounds while your heart rate is spiking. Here is the mechanic's insight. It runs a carbon fiber wrapped barrel. Now, do not get it twisted. This is a thin steel liner wrapped under high-tension carbon fiber. This setup creates incredible rigidity for accuracy, but it sheds heat faster than standard heavy profile barrels. When you're slinging lead downrange fast, that heat dissipation keeps your point of impact from wandering. It is physics, not just marketing. Cycling this action feels confusing. You hear the classic mechanical clack-clack of a cowboy gun, but you're holding a modern polymer chassis. It creates a strange sensory disconnect. And honestly, here's the deal breaker. It is ugly. To a traditionalist, this rifle is absolute blasphemy. It lacks the soul of case-hardened steel and walnut. If you show up to a heritage shoot with this, they might actually run you out of town. I knew a predator hunter in Nevada who switched to this rig. He loved the speed of the lever for follow-up shots, but needed the reload speed of an AR-15. This bridges that gap perfectly. It feeds on Predator calibers and gets the job done. This is a solid piece of American innovation, but just wait until you see the German masterpiece waiting for you at number 1. Keep your powder dry and your aim true. Now we get serious at number 4 with the Beretta BRX-1 Ranch. Look, in Europe, straight pull rifles are standard issue. In America, we treat them like alien technology. But Beretta is changing that game. This is the Ranch version, meaning it is short, fast, and designed to live a hard life. The mechanism here is what separates the operators from the casuals. Here's the mechanic's insight. This uses a linear reloading system with an 8-lug rotating bolt head. Unlike a standard bolt action where you have to lift, pull, push, and drop, this is just back and forth. It is one fluid motion. This allows you to stay on target while cycling the action, maintaining your sight picture perfectly. It is the closest you can get to semi-automatic speed without the legal headaches. When you rip this bolt back, it sounds like a bank vault slamming shut. It is mechanical and violent in the best way possible. The trigger breaks with a sudden snap, like breaking a glass rod. But here's the deal breaker. The safety mechanism on the bolt shroud is strange. It takes some serious thumb strength to actuate, and honestly, it feels awkward until you train with it. If you have weak hands, this might not be for you. I saw a guy use this on a driven hunt where things got chaotic fast. He put 3 rounds on target in under 4 seconds. That is speed you cannot buy with a traditional bolt gun. It eats common calibers like .308 and .223. The street price is sitting around $1,600. If you want the raw truth without the fluff, lock it in right here. Entering the elite tier at number 3, we have the Browning X-Bolt 2 left hand. Look, if you're a Southpaw, you know the pain. You have spent your whole life reaching over the receiver, awkward and slow, or getting hit in the face with hot brass. Most manufacturers just mirror a CNC file and call it a day. Browning actually engineered a solution that respects your mechanics. This is not just a right-handed rifle with the bolt flipped. It is a dedicated precision platform built for the 10% of the population the industry usually ignores. Here is the mechanic's insight. This rifle utilizes a short 60-degree bolt throw. Most traditional actions require a 90-degree lift to cycle the bolt. By shaving 30 degrees off that arc, you gain massive clearance for the large ocular bells found on modern long-range scopes. You can cycle this weapon rapidly without scraping your knuckles against your optic. It is simple geometry, but it changes the entire rhythm of your engagement speed. Under the finger, the new DLX trigger is the real star. It breaks with absolutely zero creep, feeling like snapping a dry pasta noodle. It is crisp, immediate, and dangerous. However, let us be real about the deal breaker, the rotary magazine. It is made of lightweight polymer. When you eject it, it feels cheap. It lacks the substantial thunk you expect from a rifle in this price bracket. It works, but it feels like a toy component in a serious machine. I watched a left-handed guide in Alaska nearly cry when he picked this up. He had never held a rifle that actually fit him properly without compromise. It feeds on heavy hitters like 300 PRC and 7mm Magnum. The damage to your wallet is significant, pushing over $1,500. This is a precision instrument, but it is nothing compared to the absolute luxury waiting for you at number 1. Don't be a victim, get prepared. Closer to the crown at number 2, we have the Weatherby Mark V Backcountry Capra. Look, gravity is the ultimate enemy. When you are hiking at 10,000 feet chasing a mountain goat, every single ounce on your back feels like a brick. Weatherby knows this. They did not just trim some fat here, they engineered a famine. This is the lightest production bolt-action rifle in the world, starting at just 4 pounds. That is lighter than your average laptop. It feels almost fake when you pick it up, like a toy, until you pull the trigger. Here is the mechanic's insight that defies physics. They utilized a titanium action mated to a specialized carbon fiber stock. But look at the barrel. It features a double helix fluting pattern. This is not just cosmetic. By spiral cutting the barrel this aggressively, they removed a massive amount of steel to reduce weight while maintaining the structural rigidity needed for barrel harmonics. It keeps the barrel stiff for accuracy, but light enough to carry with one hand all day long. However, we have to talk about the physics of pain. The sensory experience of shooting this is violent. When you touch off a heavy Magnum round in a 4-pound gun, the recoil is sharp and unforgiving. It feels like getting punched in the shoulder by a bare-knuckle boxer. And here's the deal breaker, the price tag. This level of aerospace engineering costs more than a used car. You are paying a premium for every ounce you do not have to carry. I spoke to a sheep guide who swears by this rig. He said by day 4 of a hunt, when your legs are burning and your lungs are screaming, this rifle is the only friend you have left. It eats heavy rounds like 300 Weatherby Magnum. If you have the cash and the tolerance for recoil, this is the peak of American engineering. But it still can't touch the pure European refinement sitting at number 1. Watch your 6. I'm out. And finally, standing alone at number 1, we have the Walther RS3 Heritage Sevenstar. Look, I have held a lot of rifles. I have held tactical chassis guns that look like they belong on a tank, and I have held beater truck guns covered in mud. But this is not a firearm. This is kinetic art. Walther has taken the concept of the hunting rifle and elevated it to a level that honestly feels arrogant. It blends the warmth of grade 7 Caucasian walnut with futuristic black elastomer inlays. It is traditional, yet alien. Here is the mechanic's insight that justifies the hype. This utilizes a straight-pull bolt system integrated with the QSA silencer mount. Most suppressed rifles become unwieldy muskets that are impossible to balance. Walther engineered the barrel and suppressor as a single harmonic unit. The suppressor threads deep over the barrel, maintaining the center of gravity closer to the shooter. This means you can swing the rifle on a moving target like a running boar without fighting the inertia of a heavy muzzle. When you cycle this action, it defies description. It does not click or clack. It slides. It feels like a polished piston moving through a vacuum tube. The resistance is perfectly consistent, giving you a sensory feedback loop that screams precision. The trigger brake is telepathic. You do not pull it, you just think about firing, and the round is sent. But here's the truth, and the only deal breaker I can find. You will be terrified to use it. When you are holding a stock that costs more than most people's entire gun collection, you hesitate. You do not want to drag this through the thorns. You do not want to rest it on a rocky outcrop. It is a tool that is almost too beautiful to do its job. I spoke to a collector who bought one. He keeps it in a humidity-controlled glass case. He has never fired a shot. And that is a tragedy, because this machine was born to run. It feeds on 308 and delivers terminal performance with surgical grace. The damage to your wallet? If you have to ask, you cannot afford it. So, here is the bottom line. We started this list with a plastic workhorse thrown in a truck bed, and we ended with a masterpiece locked in a glass case. The industry is splitting in two. On one side, you have the relentless pursuit of lightweight aerospace materials. On the other, a desperate cling to old-world craftsmanship enhanced by modern physics. Which one is right? That depends on whether you view hunting as a job or an art form. Train hard, stay safe, and I will see you downrange.